2024 is almost over. Exactly maybe 12 hours from now. Yeah, 12 hours from now. 2024 is gonna be done. It might already be done in China because they are 12 hours ahead of me. It has been an interesting year, EMG clan. And today I'm going to share my top favorite handhelds that I actually play and think that you should maybe get if you're in the market for a PC or even an Android based handheld in 2025. It's not 2025 yet. So let me level up your gaming knowledge even more at the end of 2024. That is right, mobile gamers. The end is nigh of 2024. You thought I was going to say 2025. But no, that's going to be for next year. We have experienced a lot of different devices on the channel, from retro to modern to PC gaming to Android to AYN pushing out a clone of the PS Vita that is the Ayn Odin 2 Mini, and much more that kind of just released recently, to the 1X Player F1 Pro. Yes, it is amazing. And the Asus ROG Ally X, which is basically the device that fixed everything wrong with the Ally. I owned one for almost a year, never reviewed it. And the Steam Deck OLED model, and sneak peeks to the Switch 2, sneak peeks to the Legion Go 2, sneak peeks to a whole bunch of different stuff that is coming out. And today I'm going to share what devices I actually play on all the time, what devices I would suggest to get if you're in the market for something that is reasonably priced when it comes to PC gaming, when it comes to just using as a PC in general, when it comes to using an Android device that's easy enough to set up and use, and even if you're in the market for something that's just more retro, because retro is why a lot of people get these things. They like to use it for playing classic games. And yes, the device that I'm going to share with you right now is my favorite retro gaming handheld, and that is the Anbernic RG 556. Wait, no, I mean Anbernic RG 732. No, this is, all right, I'm just messing with you. This is the RG Cube XX. This is the Cube model that's cheaper. It's like $60 American, and it does put up a pretty good, I don't know how to say it, fight when it comes to playing retro games. I've been playing just Game Boy Color on it, as you see here. Like, it's Game Boy Color, and obviously Game Boy Color isn't as demanding. Now, a lot of people, when this device came out, were like, oh, why would you buy that thing? The, you know, portrait mode or the actual design of the display is just not right, because it's like a, I don't even remember what they say it is. It's not a 4:3 aspect ratio. It looks like it's 4:3 because of the bezels around this, but the aspect ratio of this device is a little bit strange. But when you actually put like bezels around the device on the screen, as you see here with the Game Boy Color bezels, as you see, this is just like a elongated kind of, what do they call it? Like, not a 7:1 ratio, but I can't even remember what the ratio is for this device. Honestly, it's not a 4:3. It's just a ratio that just doesn't make any sense for a lot of people. I did not know I was about to fight a boss. And it was something that I actually did play a lot. As you can see here, I'm playing Zelda Oracle of Ages, because I never played Oracle of Ages when I was growing up, and I only played Oracle of Seasons. So it was actually pretty interesting. Ow, okay, I am kind of getting hurt here. To actually be able to get an Anbernic device that I could say I liked, because I didn't really like Anbernic whatsoever for a lot of devices, only because I'm like, well, you're releasing a device every 5 seconds. I'm not going to buy a device that I'm not actually going to play and let it sit on my shelf. Yes, my Anbernic RG 556 literally just sits on my shelf. Doesn't get played. Well, actually, no, I can't say that. I'm lying. My kids actually play with it now. They use it for Roblox and Minecraft. But it sat on my shelf for a long time, and then I'm like, I might as well let my kids play with this thing. It is something that I really did not play with a lot, and if you're in the market, again, like I said, for something that's more retro, this thing was playing PlayStation 1 okay, with regards to like a lot of games like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, And I never tested like Driver or anything like that, but I did test out those 2 games, and those are 2 of my favorite games that I mostly played when I was growing up. So it was something that I thought, okay, I'm gonna actually just test out games that I actually play. And of course, I'm sure you could play some Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog, and stuff like that as well. And Anbernic really did a good job with customizing these bezels and stuff. I beat that boss. I don't even know what I did there. So that they would kind of look like an all-in-one consoleized handheld device. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but honestly, these joysticks, I'm not going to expect these to be any better than they are. The D-pad, I like this D-pad. It's nice. It's, you know, like a rocker kind of dish style size kind of D-pad that moves my player around. It does what it needs to do. It also works well with PS1, and that is basically everything I enjoyed about this device, and that is why it made it into this list, because it is actually a device I actually played. Now, for retro gaming handhelds, I was kind of all over the place with those for a while. And when I started playing a lot of the Ayn Odin 2, and I started playing a lot of like these modern handhelds that emulate these games, I still like original hardware. Not gonna say I don't like it, but I finally went out of my way. I bought a PS Vita, which is what I'm gonna be showing you right now. PS Vita, yes, is my favorite retro-ish. It's not really that retro, but it's retro-ish style handheld because I can play emulation on it. I can play PS Vita games on it. I can play PSP games on it. I can play PlayStation 1 games on it. And I guess somebody recently figured out how to play DS on it, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it was DS, not 3DS. And that is very interesting to me because, yes, the PS Vita, as you see here, is a pretty decent device. It feels good in the hands, and for bigger hands, even like mine, for example, it doesn't feel too bad. And that's why I kind of like the PS Vita style Ayn Odin 2 that released, because I was like, well, that thing's going to be awesome. That thing has a mini LED. It looks like the PS Vita, and I'm sure it's going to feel a lot better than the PS Vita, which it did, and just do what the Ayn Odin 2 does with regards to emulating consoles like Nintendo Switch, for example. So yeah, this device was one of my favorites for a long time. I played it for a few months, like daily almost. And then I just kind of faded away from it, and then it kind of just sat on my shelf. And now it still kind of just sits on my shelf. I sometimes pick it up to play like Super Mario World. As you see here, I kind of made it to the first castle again for the millionth time. I've played Super Mario World a million freaking times, I think. And it was something that I really enjoyed playing. I even modded this thing. I put a new faceplate on it. As you see here, it's kind of like the Oreo style PS Vita because it was originally a black model, and then I bought the white screen only because I was kind of into like the black and white kind of style. As you saw it with my my Anbernic device, it's the same type of style, right? So unfortunately, when I bought the screen, though, I didn't know this was I guess there's the LCD model versus the OLED model, but the screen still looks nice. I don't really see a difference. The angles look great and everything. I don't see any glare or anything like that on this, unlike this thing right here that's a glare monster. But yeah, I didn't really have any issues with that, so it really did do a good job. And this was my very first PS Vita that I ever owned, and this is the original model, the fat model. But this is the model that only came out in certain areas, and it had the 3G network built into it, which back in the day, that would have been cool. To play online with 3G, Wi-Fi, or 3G, not Wi-Fi, but your 3G network using like an LTE SIM card or something would have been awesome. But what I did with it is I took that 3G module out of there, and I upgraded it to a custom SD card reader, which is something that I did a video about. I'll put a link in the description below about that. And yeah, it did a lot, and it feels really good. I almost want to just start playing this again, just because I feel like it does feel great in the hands. But honestly, there is so much more out there now that I feel like the market is a little bit saturated with stuff, but it is still great to just jump on, use original hardware sometimes in some regard, and enjoy playing even just emulation on a device that originally didn't play these games. So that is it for the PS Vita it is something that I actually played for a bit, and then kind of, like I said, I veered away from it, and it didn't, you know, get a lot of hours of play, but it got enough to say that it made it into this list. If you're in the market for a PS Vita, or you're looking for one, maybe try to outsource the same one I got so that you can just upgrade the module on the inside. And it's really not that hard to do. But if you don't like tinkering with that kind of stuff, just get a regular one, hack it, and then be on your merry way. Now, this one is not going to surprise you guys. If you've been on the channel for a while, this device really is not going to make you guys jump out of your seats and be like, oh, I didn't expect that. Because obviously, the device I'm about to show you, which is the device that I pushed a lot to everybody this year, is the Ayn Odin 2. The reason why is because I personally never had a problem with any screen tearing or screen delays or whatever people kept saying about the motion blur. Like, this is not motion blur to me. Like, I see what people see, but that's just the actual animation of the device moving from one screen to another. That's an animation. That's an animation for Android, and that's been around for years. I don't see motion blur. Even when I'm playing games on this thing, I never, ever, ever have seen any motion blur whatsoever. Even when it comes to PS2 emulation or even Switch emulation. I'm not going to show Switch emulation for obvious reasons. I honestly did not notice any problems with the display, and I just didn't really have any problems with this thing. The only problem I did have and do still have to this day is that AYN does not update their devices as often as I would hope they would. And honestly, they need to make sure that they do this, because they're not getting any money out of me for the Ayn Odin 2 portal right now. Only because I am kind of tired of these Chinese companies that don't want to do that. They had the Odin 1 Pro and they stopped updating it, and people asked them to update it and they stopped updating it. And that is some things that it's like, well, people ask me, why do you root your devices? Well, rooting your devices allows you to open up a whole bunch of different opportunities for that device when it comes to Android, like unlocking every feature, unlocking storage access, unlocking the ability to actually flash custom ROMs if you know how to like customize ROMs and stuff like that. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. And there's so much more that you could do with it. Like, if you were able to develop a custom ROM for this thing and use maybe some of their default apps, or maybe learn how to actually develop some of the apps or features that they use in this actual device when it comes to like changing performance modes and stuff like that, which some people have been developing Linux for this, then it would be, you know, the perfect device in my mind. Now, again, motion blur. What motion blur? I don't see any motion blur on this screen right now. I don't see any delays on this screen right now. You guys might see a little bit of a delay between the camera and the actual device itself playing games and stuff like that. But there's no motion blur with me sitting here playing it. My friend even owns this device as well, and he has never complained or said anything about motion blur. He has said that sometimes games crash, and emulation, sometimes, yeah, games do crash. And that is just because of the emulator. And PS2 emulation is something that has halted. And yeah, we have... Why is his thumb moving but not actually going up? The developer just abandoned it because the community was extremely rude to him, I guess, or something. And yeah, I'm not going to go all there, but basically this thing is a beast. It's a beast Android gaming handheld that has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. Yes, we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 out right now. I have never beaten God of War 2, by the way, so I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. I think I'm supposed to be smashing this guy's thumb, but it's really not doing what I thought it would do. Maybe I have to roll underneath it. So yeah, the Ayn Odin 2, I did prove a lot that this device is great for even Switch emulation. Wii was my favorite to play on this, especially even docked with the Dolphin bar, or even just out on the go. I was able to play Wii on the go, and I did a funny little skit where I was like, oh, let's play Wii at the park. And yeah, I could play Wii at the park and even enjoy playing just a lot of these different, you know, consoleized devices in the palm of my hands. And that's the thing. These are mobile gaming devices that you could travel with. Yes, they're a little bit pricey, but you got to think about how much a Wii is costing you, how much a Wii U is costing you, because yes, you can play Wii U on this now, how much a 3DS costs you, how much a PS2 would cost you, PS1, all those devices all in one go. If you bought them today, even at a pawn shop or on the marketplace, you're paying way more for all of these devices than you're paying for this $400, well, $299 USD handheld Android gaming device. So the Ayn Odin 2, yeah, my favorite Android gaming handheld. And that is something that is kind of interesting because 2025 is coming. We have the Odin 2 Portal that is going to be released. It has an OLED screen. Yay! I love OLED, actually. It's just, I think it's funny because the LCD screen that they put in this thing is actually really nice. Some people say otherwise. I don't care. This is my channel. I'll say what I want. This is my opinion. I'll say what I want as well. And if you don't like it, well, bye-bye! Now, I'm going down the line here. Yes, I started off with like the Linux-based mobile handheld device. I went with like a retro device because yeah, I did actually play it. And you're seeing a couple other devices on the table that are devices that I'm gonna say I liked but ticked me off. This device right here, the Retroid Pocket 4, finally last week got the issue. Hopefully Android or Retroid actually responds to my email. This thing finally broke. It had a big issue, another quality issue. Whoa, that's so surprising for Retroid that the trigger button broke. And I say it like that because if you don't know Retroid, they have always had quality issues with their devices and even software issues as well. And this finally broke after not even a couple months of being played with because I finally said, I'm going to give this to my kids. My kids have been playing on it and the trigger broke. No, it's not the fault of my kids. This is something that happens with these devices. The trigger spring breaks inside. I haven't opened it up yet. I am going to try to attempt to do it myself with another device I have. If that doesn't work, hopefully Retroid gets back to me, sends me a replacement because they did say on their Reddit that they would replace this. However, what about the device itself? Well, without grips, this device is not big. People say, oh, it's pocketable. Yeah, well, where are you going with these things? Are you taking these to the park? Are you taking these to the beach? Are you taking these to the mall, or are you taking these out grocery shopping to shove these in your pocket to be able to play on the go? I understand that not everybody drives. Some people sit on a train or a bus. Yeah, I guess, you know, that's where, you know, traveling with these things is cool. But honestly, even if back in the day, I had my phone, I guess. Back in the day, maybe I would take this with me. I don't know, because I did take the bus a lot of places. But honestly, I don't really think I would travel with this to my workplace because it's just something that I never really even did when I had even my Nintendo 3DS or even my Game Boy Color or anything like that. Like, I know when I was a kid, I had my Game Boy Color with me. I had a little bag for it. Even back then, I had a little case that it went in and then it traveled alongside me. It didn't get shoved in my pocket very often. I know I joke around about shoving batteries in my pocket, which, yeah, I think I did shove batteries in my pocket. But I really did not travel with any of these devices when I was younger. I don't understand the whole, oh, it's not pocketable. It doesn't make any sense to me. It does make sense in a sense, but it doesn't make sense to me personally. That is my opinion. I did a funny skit about the whole pocketability thing, did a video about that, and honestly, it just did not work for what I use these devices for. That leads me to the big boy of all of these devices sitting on the channel. I'm not even going to talk about this garbage, because this is absolute trash. The Asus ROG Ally X. Before you say anything, I own, and still own, the Asus ROG Ally Z1 Extreme, which is the original model. Yes, this has the same processor in it, and I like this thing, and I hated it at the same time. The reason why I'm going to say that is because I always had issues with the network, having issues with playing Call of Duty. Sometimes I felt like the device was like overrunning and getting super hot. I don't know if it was between the fact that the device got super hot and me putting the bigger NVMe back here. I know I didn't do a video about this, but I have a video still sitting on my computer about changing this to the Xiao clear case, which kind of looks neat. Anyways, so this case, the original one, the plastic one, ended up cracking. See that crack right there? I still have the shell in my blocks of shells and stuff or parts, and it split, and it was like protruding like this. It looked like it was, you know, having an issue. So I changed it to that back plate, and I think it was just getting too hot. The Asus ROG Ally is a great device. Battery kind of sucks compared to what they did with the one I'm about to talk about. And the reason why I was pulling out the other one is because, yes, I have experienced that one. I've had it since January, and I've played on it almost every day until I got another device recently. But this device right here, I enjoyed playing Call of Duty, Minecraft, Skyrim, and retro games on it without any problems whatsoever. I'm going to show you the issues, maybe in a video in the future, about this device compared to the original, because sometimes I would play like Call of Duty, for example, and I would have latency issues a lot in my original one, whereas the Z1 Extreme or the Asus ROG Ally X didn't have any of these issues. I never had any games crash on me. I've never had any slowdowns. I was able to just continuously play online. Randomly, I would have a server disconnected, blah, 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 but that's, you know, regardless of the actual device itself. The battery life on this, I don't know what the battery is at right now, 85%, but the battery life on this thing, I actually really freaking enjoyed. I think that the battery life on the Ally X compared to the original model is 10 times better. I know it's overpriced. It's $10.99 U or Canadian at least. And honestly, I really am doing bad at Call of Duty right now because I'm talking, but really do back the fact that I think we were all just testers for the original AYN or Asus ROG Ally, and they fixed all of the major issues that the Asus ROG Ally original model had, and put it into this device, called it the X model, and called it a day. Charged maybe, I think it was like $300 or $400 more for this device compared to the other one. But right now you can actually buy the other one for $5.99 Canadian at Staples if you are in Canada and you want to get a device and test it out yourself. But the fact that we could actually put in so much better work into a device kind of says, hey, screw you guys, we care about money when it comes to Asus at least, and that is why we fixed it. And here you go, here's a device that's fixed all the problems that we had. We don't even want to bother saying, hey, sorry you bought the first model, that was crap. That is business, and we'll see you next time. So hopefully next time is not going to be like that. Hopefully they make a really good model. Anyways, so yeah, it's a matter of enjoying gaming, depending on what you plan on gaming, of course. But honestly, this device just did what it was supposed to do, and what the original was supposed to do, that is. I think that if you're in the market and you're looking for something that actually plays games well and has a decent battery life, again, I'm not searching for something that's mobile or pocketable. Like, it is mobile, a laptop's mobile, you know, like that's the thing. Like, the laptop is mobile, these are all mobile. It's more of, where are you going with these things? I've traveled with both of these devices at Christmas to my in-laws, and they survived. They're still alive. They're not scratched up. They're not broken. They're not falling apart. They're not, you know, having issues. I was able to play them. I sat down when we had downtime and everybody was kind of doing their own thing, and decided to play Call of Duty for a bit. And I also ended up playing some other games. But yeah, the Ally X really was, and I say was because I'm going to show you a device in a second that I have thoroughly enjoyed for the last 48 hours that I've owned it, that I think is the top tier, yes, most expensive PC handheld gaming device that actually doesn't have too bad of a battery life with the way that I have it set up. And I think if you're in the market for a PC, and you're in the market for a mobile PC, and you're in the market for a laptop, and you're in the market for a gaming handheld, all in the same sense, this device will really shock you at what it can do, what it has done, what it looks like, how well it is put together, and all of the above, which is going to be the 1X Player F1 Pro. This device really put it in perspective of these devices can be form factored smaller. So as you can see, it is a little bit smaller than the Asus ROG Ally X. It's about the same size-ish, sort of the Ayn Odin 2. It kind of reminds me of the Ayn Odin 2, or what the Ayn Odin 2 should be sized like, because the Loki, which is the Ayn's PC handheld, was kind of more or less the size of this device right here. I have been playing Call of Duty, Minecraft, yes, lots of Minecraft, because I actually recently discovered how to set up a server, which is a video that is coming out, and you could do it too. I really put the last 48 hours to work with this thing when it comes to actually playing on it. I have enjoyed playing on it. My wife, even last night, didn't even know I was playing on it in bed. She's like, hey, I was going to ask you to rub my back. And then she's like, oh, you're playing a game. I didn't even know you were playing a game. I like that device. She literally said those words to me. And I was like, well, that's kind of a determining factor if I can, you know, keep a device like this. Now, the battery life, yeah, it's not fantastic. It's a 48-watt battery. I'm going to do a review about this once I've had it for a few more days and actually share my thoughts about it. But honestly, this device really is great. I'm only running it at 60 hertz right now. Some of you are going to be like, oh, that's disgusting, but 60 hertz, I really don't see a difference. I have a 120 hertz TV that, yes, I see a difference on. It's a 65-inch TV, and 120 hertz, yeah, I can tell the difference between 120 hertz and 60 hertz on that thing. But when I was playing 120 hertz versus 60 hertz on this thing, on a small 7-inch display, I did not see a difference in any shape, form. Even playing Skyrim, because I played some Skyrim on it. And yeah, it really was something that I did not notice whatsoever. My opinion, again, remember that, a difference in any regard. It was something that I just was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to crank this down to 60 hertz because I play 60 hertz even on my Asus ROG Ally X, and it doesn't affect me. Now, as you can see, the game looks good. It's Minecraft. It's not, you know, a great game, you know, to expect a fancy amount of graphics, but the game is playing really great. I am playing on, I think, 50 chunks rendering resolution. I'm also playing at 15 watt TDP. I am also playing with, I think, oh no, I don't have the CPU boost on either. I turned that off because I found that the CPU boost was actually causing issues. So the CPU boost turned off, fixed a lot of issues that I was having at the beginning when I was actually tinkering with this thing. I've, at this point, kind of gotten used to how to actually set up these Windows PC handhelds. And of course, yeah, I have to, right? This is kind of what I do now. Like, I kind of do this kind of stuff. And yeah, some of you might say that I'm complaining about devices. I've, you know, been arrogant about things, or maybe I'm a little bit sassy. That's who I am. I'm not going to change just because you think that way. That is how I do what I do. I'm not going to fake things just because I want some clout. I'm going to tell you guys how it is. And if you don't like it, then again, as I always say at the end of all my videos, bye-bye! So that's not the end of this video. That is just my stupid humor of letting you sit there for a few minutes. But yeah, I like this thing. Now, what they could have changed, 1X Player, I'm pointing you out for this, is that they could have made these joysticks a little bit bigger. So yeah, this device really did prove that, you know, these devices are coming a long way. It feels good. These buttons, they're soft to the touch. They're not loud. They're not clicky. They're not clanky. They're not clacky. They're not klooky. They are soft to the touch. Now, for some reason, the LB button, this side, is quiet and soft. This side has more of a tactile, kind of echoey feel to it. The triggers, they are soft. They're not huge travel triggers. There's an M1, M2 button at the top here, volume rocker, USB-C and a USB-A, headphone jack, USB-C at the bottom, and a micro SD card slot, and downfire and speakers, which actually do not sound too bad. Not sure if you'll be able to hear anything in Minecraft, but they don't sound too bad. I don't have the music on. but they don't sound too bad. Now, this device, I think, is going to replace this thing. The reason why, the OLED panel is flawless. It's amazing. It looks great. And this is the OLED panel at max brightness. I know I'm in a cave right now, so there we go. And it's hard to, you know, tell on a camera how good an OLED panel is compared to like an LCD. As you can see, the LCD right here kind of looks a little bit better, and I think I'm only at 75%. But that's because it's on camera, and I am also in a cave right now. But you can tell the difference between the two when you're actually putting it to work. The device is something that, if again you're looking for power, you're looking for maybe a PC, you're looking for all of the above that I mentioned before, get the 1X Player F1 AI XHX, I don't even remember, 370. This is the biggest model. Not the 4TB model, which I wish I actually got. I might just have to upgrade the SSD in this, or the NVMe. And I have enjoyed it. I played 2.5 hours of Minecraft, and it got to 30% battery. Yeah, that, like, Minecraft isn't that performing, but it does use a lot of battery life. And even right now, I think I started playing, or I had this sitting for however long I've been doing this video for, and it's at 73%, and I'm at high brightness right now. I only play at like 30% brightness usually, and I think it makes the game look a lot cooler. So the 1X Player is going to be my daily driver when it comes to PC gaming. The one thing that you might think is a little bit different is that the buttons, yes, they are a little bit smaller than the Asus ROG Ally X. The Asus ROG Ally X does kind of eat it for breakfast as in regards to size. This is pocketable. It's a little bit pocketable. I put it in my jogging pants and it fit. Now, I wouldn't walk around with it in my pocket. It did come with a case, and I will put it in a case when I travel with it. And between these two devices, if you want something that is a little bit bigger, and it does conform to my hands pretty good, and you want a PC handheld, I would say get an Asus ROG Ally X. And if you want it today, because you can basically go pick one up at Best Buy usually, then get one of these. And it's easy to return, obviously, if you don't like it, right? Otherwise, if you want something in about a week and a half-ish, depending on where you are in, you know, the world, and you want some power, you want some balls, you want something that really actually has impressed me, and I was hesitant because, well, I have a review coming out about this. I owned one of the other 1X Player devices in the past, and the company put a bad taste in my mouth, and I said I would never buy anything from them again. Here I am with this thing. Yeah, it's doing great so far. Hopefully they update a couple things. There's a couple issues. I go to sleep, and I try to get out of sleep mode. It doesn't come back out of sleep mode for whatever reason, even though the Ally X does that great. This thing just stays black screen. You can see that it's on, but it's black screen, and yeah, I have to like basically restart the whole device. Anyways, that is it for... Oh, wait. Did I figure it out? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm touching buttons again. No, I think I just turned it off. That is it for 2024. My favorite gaming devices, PC handhelds, whatever you want to call them, of 2024. I didn't do this as like a top 5, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe the title will have top 5 in it. Because, yeah, I did do a kind of a top 5, I guess. What do you guys think about the Asus ROG Ally X? Sorry the Steam Deck, not sorry the Steam Deck didn't make it into this, because it's not really my favorite device that I actually play every day. I play a lot of emulation on it, but I didn't really play it a lot every day. Sorry, not sorry that I didn't review this absolute mess of a device. And sorry, not sorry, because I'm Canadian, I keep saying sorry, that I didn't review a lot of other devices that I actually own because I didn't actually play them that much. I actually played these devices. I'm not going to review a device again that, or say that the device is good that I actually didn't play, because why would you do that? That's a fake review. That's just you playing with the thing for a couple days, never touching it again. I've heard other reviewers say that, oh, I got these devices, touched it for one day, and never played it again. But I reviewed it again anyways because I thought I liked it. What? That doesn't make any sense to me. This is me being me, kind of just chilling out, showing you guys what I liked this year, what I actually played with this year, and what you could potentially get if you're in the market for any of these type of style of devices. But you can do whatever you want. That's it, right? Do whatever you want in the end. I'm just here to share my experiences one day at a time, sharing my DNA with all of you one day at a time, the last day of 2024. See you next time, guys. See you in 2025, which is going to be tomorrow. I have a lot more content coming in 2025 because, yes, what a time to be alive in 2025. Bye-bye!